So thank you all for coming. It's another one of my random last minute. I'm going to do a writing stream more deals, like always. Try to get at least maybe 3 done tonight. Depends how much we just kind of chit chat and talk and everything else like usual. But oh well. Again, it's just me. So yeah, there's that. What are y'all working on? Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see here. Fireflies here. Hello, hello. But I'm going to be working on sovereign duties, like about any other time. I hope my internet doesn't flicker. It's thundering right now. I looked at the radar. It's supposed to be over soon, so shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's not really that bad outside. It's just thundering a lot. So we'll see. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see here. Eva's here. I'll be working on timeline and plot issues still, kind of turning draft 0 into draft 1. Cool. Firefly is going to be working on editing mostly. Cool. I'm going to start going back, kind of fleshing out some of the chapters I've already finished. Not really revisions, but I've skipped some scenes or some like descriptions or whatever. I'm just not in that mindset whenever I'm writing the first go through or whatever. I just want to get the actual basic stuff down. So I usually go back later and add all the descriptions. So I'm going to be going through some of the chapters and doing that at first, and then maybe start actually writing a new chapter or something. Boom, boom. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Boom, boom. So how's y'all's weekend been? Mine's been decent. I got rid of the kids not before last. They stayed at my mom's. Had to go get them yesterday, and then I've been mostly at home the rest of the time. I went to a writing meeting locally yesterday. Met up at a library, and we had a little writing day for a couple hours. Spent about 4 hours at the library writing. I think I got a little over 2,400 words or whatever. And then we all went out for lunch, and then came home and did nothing. I don't know why I get emails letting me know that I'm live. Oh well. I guess YouTube's weird like that. That sounds fun. Library writing. Yeah. It's the first time we've actually met there. I think they used to meet there before I ever joined the group. I've been going to their monthly meetings for about 2.5 years now. But yeah, about 2.5. And they usually meet at a bread company, San Francisco Bread Company, wherever they have like an extra little business room off to the side. And we usually meet there. But they figured they would try to meet here in town because they usually meet in a different town. Usually have to drive there. But some of the members are from where I'm at. So they figured they'd do a meeting from here. And they just picked the library since they have, I think, what they call a legacy room. It's just like a big business meeting room. Firefly, I'm debating whether to run away from home. I don't run away from home. I don't know. I know when I was younger, I always wanted to run away. And then the moment I graduated high school, basically, I moved out. I was like, I'm not staying here no more. So I know the feeling. Boom, boom. Let's see here. Yeah, it's 5 after, maybe at 10 after, maybe. We can go ahead and get started on the first sprint. So about 5 minutes. Is there anything y'all want to chit chat about, questions or anything like that? Go ahead and comment and kind of tie over the time for a little bit. I know there's a couple other people so that they're going to try to get on and get in the comments, so give them a little bit of time to get here. They're all awake at the moment. The kids are just finishing eating supper. I think my youngest is the only one that's actually still eating. I don't even know if he's going to finish. But they are all in the living room, which is on the other side of the house, and they're about to start watching a movie or something. So I figured that would be a perfect time to do this. I figured that'll probably take about 2 hours, and these usually take 2 hours or so. So yeah, figure they'll probably be coming in here every so often because they can't sit still and watch a movie all the way through without getting up and running around. And I actually hear my wife get onto them at the moment. So yeah, that's always fun. Boom, 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 boom. What's today? The 18th. Yeah. I gotta do my writing taxes tomorrow, hopefully. The 20th is my deadline, so I got till Tuesday. But, oh. Do you imagine your book as a movie? I think it would be cool. I would actually prefer it to be like a TV show, because I know they have to cut out a lot to adapt it for movies, TV, or whatever. And I feel if they made it into like a hour and a half, 2 hour movie, they would have to cut out a lot. So I would rather them transfer it into a TV show so they have a longer time frame to showcase more stuff. I'm aware that they'll probably change stuff and cut stuff out, maybe add some stuff or whatever, but I'd rather, the majority of it be presentable instead of the majority of it being cut in a sense. So kind of like how Game of Thrones was or whatever, multiple seasons with, several episodes per season and stuff like that. I'd rather something like that instead of like the Harry Potter movies or something. But I think it would be cool. It'd probably be a lot of special effects and all that, so that'd be running into some money for them. But I ain't paying for it. I don't care. Hey, my sister's here. DL. We got about 2 minutes, and we'll go ahead and get started on the first sprint. Let's see here. Gotcha. Have you ever written screenplays? I have actually written a screenplay before, and it was for my book. I don't have it anymore. I had deleted it whenever I switched over from one laptop to another. I just didn't transfer the file. Basically because I didn't figure out to ever actually submit it to anything or anybody to do anything with it. But I had kind of did something like that. And the first thing I actually ever wrote from like high school, it was poorly written and it was more of a screenplay type of setup, which is mostly dialogue, and not as much narrative. It's just more, little action, tag type ordeals. Like he walked here and that was it. There wasn't much actual narrative to the story or anything. So, which is one reason I never published it because it was crap. I plan on going back and redoing that, but I did write that kind of in a screenplay style, and I didn't complete the entirety of my novel as a screenplay, but I did do the first, 4 or 5 chapters that way before I got a new computer. Just didn't transfer it or anything. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it's actually 10 after, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Boom, boom, boom. Do about 15 minutes, and then we'll come back. So 3, 2, one right. And that is time. Let me know what y'all got done. Let's see here. I got 368s. Let's see here. Yeah, I had to write a one-act screenplay for a course. The structure was so tough. But after that, it feels easier than novels to me. Yeah, I don't know if I did it completely properly. Like I said, it's mostly just dialogue, which I figured would be mostly the what screenplay would be with some action movements here and there. I know the formatting was different than what most are used to with novels and stuff. But after you get the formatting down, I didn't feel like it was too much of a learning curve or whatever. I thought it was pretty easy. So, and it definitely doesn't take, I don't feel, as much creativeness to actually write a screenplay, since there is no narrative. Dialogue for me is very simple. I don't know. I just feel like I can write dialogue pretty well. So that might be one. It just seemed kind of easy to me. Like I said, the only thing I really thought might be difficult was the formatting was different. Nicole's here. Hello. Hello, my writer friends. I'm just sneaking in to say hello while everyone writes. I'll be back to jabber once y'all are done. Shh. Yeah, we like to jabber. Dun 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 dun. Oh shit, things are moving. Eva, I'm nearly done with a visual timeline using some colored index cards and a blank wall. I think I need a smaller conflict to mix into things. Yeah, when I outline, I do like the main plot points that kind of connects me from start to finish, and then I'll go in and add some minor kind of plot points in between. And then as I'm writing, I actually kind of develop the characters a little bit better and can think of more like side plots or whatever. And that kind of really creates the story, I feel. Because when I outlined the Battle for METAGORE originally, it was literally 20 chapters, and it took all I had to think up 20 chapters worth. And then by the time I got done, it's like 58 chapters plus an epilogue. So all that smaller conflict and actually intertwining it, some of the other stuff really, lengthen the story. So, yeah. Let's see. DL Tillery got 235. Good job. Good job. I've edited 9 words. Every bit's better than nothing. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see here. That's why directors matter in film. Yeah, definitely directors, and also cinematography or whatever, just the feel of the actual scene. You could film it, but like the different lighting and all that kind of stuff really sets the mood. So that really gets it kind of, across better, I guess, as well as the way things are edited together and such. I feel like it's more of a creativeness in that aspect and less in actually writing it. But if you can't write dialogue, then it can be a struggle both ways. Nicole, screenplays were for me with the Yumi plugin on Google. Yeah, I don't even know why I even try to do the screenplay for my book. I just know one time I was like, yeah, it might be fun. I just kind of looked into it and seen whatever, and yeah. So I didn't really write it from scratch or anything. It was just, converting one thing into screenplay, which probably is also easier than actually trying to write something from scratch. It's just knowing the format and how, I don't know if this is how it's supposed to be or just what I found that you're supposed to capitalize the, like, all caps or something, like the first time somebody's name is mentioned. And then every other time it's just normally spelled out and stuff like that. So they did all the formatting for you. That's how you do it right there. Get somebody else to do it. Boom, boom, boom. But yeah, I forgot how many words I got. I think I told you a while ago. 368. Yeah, it's still highlighted. Kind of going back to a different chapter. I don't even know what chapter this is. Chapter 20. On book 2, kind of fleshing out some details. I know there's a part where there's some Dresses up here, which is a race I created. And I didn't really describe them too much. They're described in the first book some, but I wanted to re-describe them since this is the first time they're appearing in book 2. So I had skipped that whenever I originally wrote it, and that's what I was mostly working on that, as well as some more little dialogue and stuff like that. But yeah, what I'm doing, I hate deadlines. I need to get this revision done. Yeah, I try to do my best not to have actual deadlines myself. I know I mentioned it before. When I was doing the first one, I was just writing it however long it took. I wasn't really trying to set a deadline. I started editing. I just edited a little bit at a time, however much I could afford, this and that. Cover and formatter, they had like a big backstock of people before me. So they told me it was going to be several months later. So I was like, all right, whatever, that's fine. So I waited till then and just kept working on whatever I could. And then once that all got done, then I went ahead and did everything that I could on KDP and Ingram and get everything set up. And then it wasn't until after I had done all of that and it was literally ready to go, I was like, all right, I'm releasing this book in a couple months. So I did not really have a deadline. I kind of told people, I plan on releasing it maybe late spring, early summer, something like that. But I didn't really give like a date or anything like that. And since, being self-published, I didn't really have to worry about deadlines with publishers or anything like that. And I didn't really contact my for formatting until I was basically done with editing and everything anyways. And there were several months there that I had to wait anyway. So by the time they got it, it had been done a long time before that. So yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Weird question. What state are you from? I'm trying to place your accent. It sounds Appalachian. Yeah, I've had people ask me this. I'm from Arkansas, northeast Arkansas, by the Boot Hill, Missouri, and Tennessee, in that area. A lot of people around here even say I have a weird accent at times. I never notice it because it's my accent. I don't really know. As well as one of my bosses is actually the first person that actually mentioned it to me, and I mentioned it to other people, and I was like, yeah, I just never really cared enough to ask. But my explanation is that my family is actually from California, Southern California. So I don't know if maybe listen to my parents or my mom or whatever, growing up or whatever. I don't know. I don't really think that she has a different accent either. So I don't really know. I've never been there. I've lived here my entire life, but yeah. Did you know they can date mirrors back to? Yeah, actually, I remember somebody here a while back. I don't remember who or where, but it was in like some writing group on Facebook. Somebody was talking about how they was wanting to put mirrors in the world, and they was wondering if it would be like historically accurate and stuff. And some people were like saying no, but all the way back, I don't know how far back they had dated it. But I know like ancient Egyptians and stuff had mirrors, and some other places or whatever, like way back when, had mirrors and such or whatever. And they kind of had some resource links or whatever and kind of described like how it was made and stuff. It wasn't really, shiny, perfectly reflectiveness like what we have now. It's more kind of a little bit disfigured, kind of muddy, faded, whatever. But they did have mirrors, and it did do what it actually was intended for, I guess. But it was mostly for high-end, rich people because of the amount of stuff that they did. And I forgot where, but there's some place that they had like a 50-foot tall mirror or something that they had built. and I think they said it weighed like over 500 pounds or something from way back then. So yeah, I have one with my editor. Yeah, my editor. I knew it ran me a little over $1,000 to get edited, and I didn't have that much just kind of drop all at once. So I just sent him mine, just a couple chapters at a time. And I was mostly paying like $40 to $50. I think one of his little packages is like $40, and I did that mostly. And there's a couple times I did like double that, which would have been about 90. One of those packages or whatever. And then there at the end, I did do a little bit more, but it was roughly around 50 to $100 every week or two or so whenever I had the money. But I would just send him like a couple chapters, and he would edit it, send it back, and then whenever I had the time, I'd send it back to him, because I mean that was his full-time job, and he didn't just do one person's manuscript at a time. He wouldn't just do, I'm working on this one, you'll have to wait or anything. It's, I'm doing this one, I'll going to do, I don't know, maybe 5,000 words of this one today and 5,000 words of this one today, and yada yada yada. So he could kind of squeeze me in and not really have to wait. And then if he did put me on the back burner or whatever, because he did have other stuff, it wasn't really that much of a change, or wasn't much of a problem for me or whatever, because I didn't set a deadline for myself, and he said he couldn't do it for like a week or two. Now just wait a week or two. I didn't really care. Boom, boom. Southern meets Midwest. Yep. I guess. Boom, 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 boom. Human vanity knows no limitations. Also, astrology. Astronomy. I don't really know what you're talking about right there. Yeah. Edits can run some money and can get you some money, but I would not want to do that, because there would be so much stuff you would have to try to make sure you actually knew. I'd rather just write however I feel like writing and let him figure out what's fucked up about it. Which in school, I was a straight A student in English and grammar and stuff. So it probably wouldn't be that hard, and I know most stuff. Whether I actually do it's a different story, but it's not that hard for me to try to learn, I guess, but I just don't really want to. I should also be editing. Instead, I'm sitting here drinking beer and chatting with you fine. Yep. That's what we're here for, just chit chat, and people who want to write can write, and yada yada yada. Mine is like $16.89 and 6 payments. Yeah, like I said, I could send however much I wanted to. I think his smallest package was like $5 or something for like 500 words, because he was roughly about a penny a word. If you did some of the bigger packages, I could do 50,000 or 5,000 for $40, so it was a little bit less than a penny a word. Or I know I'd sent him 10,000 at times, which would have been $90, which I probably could have done, a 5 and a 5 and just paid 80, but oh well. But he just let me, however much I wanted to send him, however much, the payment was. And whenever I didn't have to actually be like, okay, this is how much it was. I know a couple times he did ask, how much more do you got, this and that. So he kind of work in, new clients. So if he was going to do like 5,000 for each person, or if I had a lot more and I was going to send him a bigger package, he might try to do maybe 10,000 for me, and then maybe like just 3,000 a day or something for somebody else, something like in that kind of ordeal. But it wasn't any, it has to be this much, or it has to be this much this fast, or anything like that. Because mirrors are used in telescopes. Yeah. In a sense, yeah. It's a magnifying glass, and that's basically, I think, the process of mirrors, except they have like a metal plate in the back, or at least that's how it used to be, some type of stone that kind of reflected it back to you or something. I don't know. I remember looking at how they used to make them way back then and how we make them now and how it's changed and stuff. But yeah, but I've never really looked into telescopes and things. Proofreading, I know the beef format. The mental editing, I'm not sure. Sounds tricky to deal with authors. Yeah, like content editing and stuff, I think would probably be the worst to do. I think it might be maybe the easiest to actually do, but I think actually having to deal with clients, since that would be actually involving, you'd be like, no, your story needs to change here, or you messed up here or something, actually telling somebody something with their story as a whole or in general. I feel like that would be more problems working with somebody. Line editing and stuff like that with like punctuation, word choice, stuff like that. It could be all right, and I could probably do that for the most part. Proofreading, yeah, I could do that if I actually wanted to, but I feel like that would be very time consuming because you would have to, kind of double read everything just to make sure you're not missing something. Yeah. He said most of the people that I had worked, my editor or whatever, he said most people did send him the whole thing. And kind of give them a timeline when they wanted it done. But whenever I worked with him, I was like, I don't really care. I can only afford this much each week or this much each month or whatever, and kind of break it down that much. So he worked with me on that, so I didn't care. Or he didn't care or whatever. Don't hold my chat grammar against me. It's not how. Yeah, I tell people that all the time. I was like, how I type and how I talk and text and stuff is not the quality of my book. Yeah, I'm from Arkansas. I don't talk properly and text and stuff like that. No, not at all. I'm not even looking forward to being a writing buddy. Writers can be so tricky to deal with. Yeah, I don't mind like beta reading and alpha reading and stuff like that for people because usually when once you do that, they're just asking you for a particular thing. What did you think about this or what did you think about that? And I feel like that's easier because usually if they're asking you about that particular, they might have a concern about it, so they're more accepting if you tell them that you didn't like it. As well as if you see other things that are a problem or whatever, since they didn't ask for it, you're not really obligated to tell them. I mean, you could. I know I've mentioned it to people. I also didn't like this part. I know you didn't ask about it, but I didn't really care for this, or I think it could be done differently. And a lot of times they're like, yeah, I'm just not concerned about that right now. This is more my focus, and I'll worry about that later or something, which I know a lot of them like grammar and spelling and stuff. They're like, I don't really care about that. I just want to know, is the story, the premise, the plot itself good? Did you like these characters? I don't care, if it's not really plausible for them to do that at the moment, but did you like how the characters interacted, their relationships and stuff? So I feel like beta reading and stuff like that is easier than trying to actually be like a critique partner or something, because then people kind of, there's people out there that kind of get a little pissy with you if you don't like their stuff. Every writing buddy I've ever had has been lovely, but useless. They just tell me this is really good and leave it at that. Such lies. I need to. Yeah. I know I had beta readers and stuff for my book. Some of them were my friends, others were fellow authors, and others were just random people that I guess are authors as well. I didn't really know them. And I feel like those people and other authors were more helpful for me. My friends, however, read it and they're like, yeah, this is cool, whatever. I thought my light dimmed. Oh well. They're like, yeah, this is cool. I liked it, whatever. I was like, that doesn't help me. What did you like about it? I'm sure there's something that you didn't like about it. What did you not like about it? Stomp all over my stuff. I don't care. Rip me a new one. Yeah, I'm honest. I'm fairly diplomatic, so I'm not harsh. Yeah, when I'm actually critiquing somebody's stuff, I will kind of pick out different things that I like and what I didn't like. Um, but mostly when I'm just beta reading, I will, if they don't give me a set of questions or anything that they like, hey, I want you, let me know what you think of this or whatever, then I will tell them more my genuine thoughts and stuff over the whole thing. But if they ask me just about the characters or whatever, as I'm reading it, I'm not really thinking about all the, grammar that's wrong or anything like that. I'm just focused on the characters because that's what they had asked me to, review for them in a sense. I hate having to give bad news. Charging for it sounds like I'm stressed. Yeah, I don't mind giving people bad news. If I don't like it or whatever, I don't have a problem with that. I just have a problem with when they start getting offensive. And I have had some people that ask me to beta read for them, and then I would tell them something, even something that they asked me about, and I'd tell them, I didn't really care for that or whatever, and then they try to justify why they did it. And I understand there's some things or whatever I just might not understood properly or whatever that somebody else might or whatever. So I might just not understood it the way it should have been. But it kept going like almost every chapter or something. They kept going, oh, no, you're wrong type of deal. And finally I was like, I can't read this anymore. I'm sorry. It sounds like it's thundering even louder. So, yay. I was senior editor for Lit Mag. It was an honor. Yeah. Just because I was good at English and grammar and stuff doesn't mean I actually enjoy it. So I would not want to do that. My actual day job, I work at home, transcribe, do legal transcriptions and stuff, and it's the most boringest job I've ever had. I mean, it keeps me at home. I get to, work my own hours. I get to do all that fun stuff, and it pays decent. And some of the court cases are hilarious to listen to, but just having to type up what everybody says is just, it's very boring. I worked in HR for a while, but it wasn't related to writing. That was complicated enough with my empathetic nature. Yeah. I used to, I've never worked in HR. I used to work in fast food. I've worked in grocery stores. I've worked at a lot of factories, or not a lot, but a couple of factories and such. And factories, when I don't really have to deal with other people, were my strong suit because I could just cuss anybody out that pissed me off and, not think twice about it. Can't really do that when you're making food for somebody. They tend to not like that. And I was also a manager of a Subway at one point, but I didn't want that whenever I actually took the position. I went back to school in 2012, so I feel pretty refreshed on proofing after the 2 million papers. Yeah. I've been an alpha for Aphrodite. Enjoy that. Yeah. The chick that I had messaged you about today or whatever, that's the one I was talking about. Beta reading for her at the moment. Or I don't really know if you call it betas, because I know a lot of people when they do betas, they do like a beta run and stuff, where they try to send it to a lot of people and this and that. I've just been, I feel like more of an alpha, but it wasn't like a first draft. It's more, she'll send me like one chapter, and whenever I get around to reading it and stuff, which I'll try to do it like within a day or two, and then I'll send her some stuff so she can go back and edit and all that stuff. I've been doing that for her, and she's one that at times she asked me, how do you think about this situation or this particular point of the chapter? Did you feel the tension, the mystery, the whatever? But for the most part, she's just like, what's your thoughts? And I've been, giving her more advice overall instead of just narrowed down for those chapters. But I think you'd like it. I enjoy it. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. No one has ever offered to show me their work in progress. Well, I will be looking for an alpha or a beta or something before too long, probably, or at least later this year. So if you want to do that for me, I will offer to show you my work in progress. I'm going to try to get at least the first draft done before I start sending it out, so I can just send out everything at once, so I'm not having to send it in portions like I did with my first book. I would send a couple chapters, write a few chapters, send a couple more chapters or anything. This one, I'm going to try to get the first draft completely done and send it out to a round of alphas, and then kind of go back and do a little bit of self-edits, and then see what their responses are, and then go through another round of self-edits and revisions and such. I don't know writers though, so that's yeah. Well, just connect to them on social media, where Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Just put it out there. I even put it on my website that I'm willing to be a beta and alpha reader for people. So if anybody ever stumbles onto my website or wherever, they can see that. If they want to submit something, they could. But mine that I didn't actually know, I just found in different writing groups and such like that on Facebook. And of course, not everybody's actually going to read it that say they are. I bet I'll probably send it out to probably 15 to 20 different people to beta read. And I got maybe 10 of them that actually responded to actually read or whatever. Or that's like 20 people that said they would. And then 10 actually did. And I think maybe 7 actually did the entire book. And the rest just kind of did a couple chapters and just kind of disappeared and whatever. So you're going to have that if you want to actually send stuff to people. But yeah. I was asked to do an ARC review, but the book was very poorly done. Then I sent the notes to the authors with some tips and didn't put out a review. They didn't reply back, so I think they were upset. Yeah, for when people ask me to do ARC reviews, I'll review it either way. If it's a good review or bad, if I think it's going to be a bad review, I'll let them know, like what you said, kind of give them, notes, what you liked, what you didn't like, whatever. And then I will go ahead and send them a copy of the review that I would do if they wanted to still have me post it. Because, a lot of people don't care if it's good or bad. They just want that review number, especially on Amazon with the rankings. It doesn't matter what it's reviewed, just as long as it's reviewed or whatever, more reviews, better publicity you get. So I'll go ahead and send them to that. If they still do not want me to post that because of some of the stuff I said in there or whatever, then I won't post that. But I still try to at least do just the star rating, even if I don't actually leave a text review. I'll still rate it with the star or whatever. Since, I took the time to read it, I'm still going to review it that way, at least. Yeah, I tried beta reading once, but they were receptive to the feedback, so I never finished it. Yeah, like I said, I beta read for some people, and then they would just argue with me or whatever. I'm just telling you my opinion, and they just kept on, and I was like, I'm not finishing this. I'm done. Whatever. It would have been a forced read. Not going to do that for nothing. Yeah. Somebody had messaged me asking if I would do an ARC for them, and usually I'm pretty open. Like I said earlier, I'll do betas, alphas, ARCs, whatever. Even if it's not a genre I typically read, there's some I won't do it for, but for the most part, I'll do, whatever. But I had one person actually send it to me, and then, I asked for like a blurb, this and that, and he sent it to me, and that was very poorly written. Everything was just not good, and I turned it down. I think that's the only one I've actually just turned down from that. There's been a few that I've read like a chapter or two, and I was like, I'm just not feeling this book. I'm sorry. But that was the only one I've actually turned down before I ever read anything. So, yeah. Eva, you can read my rough draft. Let's see here. If my feedback was falling on deaf ears, not that I'd charge. Yeah, don't charge to beta read. We ain't Kristen Martin up in here. Let's see here. But I was being honest, and I asked, did they still want the review? I could put it out, but since they didn't reply back, that was no, I guess. Yeah, that's how I usually do. I kind of, the better judgment, I guess. If they don't respond, then all right, whatever, I figure if they actually would want the review, they'd be like, yeah, go ahead and put it out. If not, then they'd be like, nah, whatever. And yeah, I got to feel I'm going to lose power at some point. I thought this was supposed to pass by, but it doesn't seem like it is. Oh, well. What genre is? Oh, yeah. I don't know if you're talking about me or Nicole. Mine is medieval fantasy. It's the second book in my METAGORE series. So if you haven't read the first one, it might be a little difficult for that. But Nicole says hers is young adult supernatural, which is essentially LGBT themes. Sounds fun. How long is this? I respect others' wishes and thoughts. They should know that what I thought before I would put it out there, so I'll let it be up to them. Yeah, I'm the same way if it's bad. Like I said, I'll still go ahead and put the star if I feel like it's 1-star review or whatever. I'll go ahead and do that. I just won't put the text because, I feel like if I didn't put that, I just literally wasted my time reading a book that I didn't like. And I'm not really helping other people out if they go back and look at the reviews to see if they like it. If it's all just 5-star reviews and they think it's bad or whatever, I feel like I've not done my job as a reviewer. So I will at least post a 1-star review or 2-star or whatever. Just no text on it. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I don't know why YouTube did that or when they started it. I know it used to not be like that because I have a separate YouTube account for my personal videos as well as back when I used to make music, and I was able to use a custom URL the moment I created my accounts. Of course, this was like 2008, 2009, somewhere in there. So that's been like 10 years ago. But I don't know why they changed it. I know whenever I made this one, I went to do it so all my URLs and stuff are the exact same, so it's easier to search. And it's not there. And then I found out you had to have like 100 subscribers and stuff. I was like, well, that's a bunch of bullshit. But oh well. But yeah, I subbed to you earlier and such. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, like I said, it'll probably be after I finish the first draft. I think I plan on getting it done before the end of the year, or the end of the year was like the only deadline that I had to get the first draft done. If I don't get it, then oh well. But I figure I will get it. I am over halfway through. I think I'm 32, 33 chapters done, and it's going to be right about 50, I think. That's where it's sitting at now, 50, 51. So I'm getting there. I plan on having it done by the end of the year, maybe before. I'll probably post it on social media and other places to ask people if they want to. All my videos down in the description bar, I think the first thing says, you can sign up to be an alpha for book 2. You can click that, fill out the little form. I'm not really going to actually pick people at the moment or anything. I'm going to wait until then, but at least that gives people a chance to go ahead and do it now. And then later on, I can just look back and find, who all wants to be there or be one. I have beta readers right now, and only one I feel is trolling. I don't think I'll be sending them any more chapters. Yeah, I have one beta reader that's, she told me, she's like one of my wife's friends' wife or whatever, and she had told me that she liked fantasy and, fantasy creatures and this and that, and mine's nothing but fantasy. So I was all right. So I sent it to her, and the very first chapter I got it back, and one of the things that she complained about was the different names and stuff that she didn't know how to pronounce and this and that, and she was complaining about it. Like most fantasy stuff that I've read, you can't even pronounce their names. Mine, I feel like you can at least pronounce them. But she was like complaining about that, and then a couple other chapters went by, and she was complaining about different fantasy type elements or whatever, and like magic use and this and that. And I was like, that's fantasy. I'm sorry. I don't even have that much magic in my story. Mine's more grounded in reality in a sense. There is different races that do use magic. It is in the story. There are dragons and stuff like that, but it's mostly grounded in like reality. And she just kind of kept complaining about all the fantasy stuff, and I was like, well, I'm not sending you anything else then. Can I start with like the first 10K words or so? See if I want more at that point. And are you gonna? I love feedback because it makes me see where I might need to fix some things. But when a person's just nitpicking, good on them. Yeah. I like just getting the general feedback. Like the person I'm beta reading for right now, she's like very specific. Do you like the tension between these two characters and the scene? Did you feel, this mystery type, whatever, did you kind of understand what was going on and still feel the mystery, or did I give too much away? That type of stuff. And I like getting that kind of feedback on my own stuff. If people was just like, yeah, I like it, that doesn't tell me anything. I want this to be a secret, but I also want to kind of hint at it a little bit, like a little bit of foreshadowing without you really knowing it's foreshadowing until you read the book and then you're like, oh yeah, that's what that was referencing to. So I feel like, I like getting that kind of information, not just, yeah, I liked it type stuff. I think plain, boring, one lines, whatever. And usually whenever I had done my betas, I'd send like a questionnaire and I put at the very top, do not answer in 1 or 2 words. I want, paragraph answers. I want to know what character you liked, why you liked them, like specific details, not just, yeah, I liked them, whatever. I want to know why. So yeah. Pouring a 6. So let me play with this. Oh shit. Oh god damn. Come on now. Okay. Send me a blurb summary. We should sprint it again. I have my timeline all taped up. Time to write a new scene. All right. Yeah, it's about 3 after right now. I'll say about 5 after. We can go ahead and do another sprint. Boom, boom, boom. This beta claims to not know the name of the store, and a sentence clearly stated the beta. Yeah, I had started writing a memoir for camp, and some of the ladies that I go to a local writing group with, I took them the first chapter, kind of let them read over it. I had to kind of censor it because it has some cursing in it and stuff, and they are very, elderly Christian type ladies, whatever. So I knew they would be kind of offended by that. So I kind of edited that out. If I sent it to them, they read it, and then I got one back because they wrote on the papers where I had printed. And one of them was like, I don't know who this is. I don't know who you're talking about here, because I just like refer to them as a nickname. The very like first couple paragraphs, I'm like introducing the different people. And there was only like 3 people, 2 guys and 1 dude, and 1 chick. And at the beginning, it describes those 2 guys because that chick doesn't come until later. It states their name. It states, we call him this. His real name's this, but this is what we call him. And every time since then, I use that nickname for him. And it was until like the last page, she's like, I don't know who this is. He's been throughout the entire story. It's not, or the entire chapter. It's not like he just showed up. He's been in this chapter. So I don't know. People. Had one person tell me to change the story to first person so that there wasn't so much dialogue. It was a monologue short. People, yeah, stuff like that I just kind of ignore. I'm not really seeking advice on content or whatever. I would get a content editor if I wanted that. I just want to know the general feel and, how do you feel about this chapter, not tell me to redo the chapter to make it more suitable for you. They had more words and edits than the story had in total. Yeah. Oh, it is 5 after, so we'll go ahead and do another 15. Go ahead and start at 3. 2, 1, go. that is time. Let me know how y'all did that sprint. Let's see here. I got 292. Take that off. Boom. Beam, beam, beam. Let's see her. Got 118. Kid would not give you a break. Yep. Kids are good like that, ain't they? I've heard mine back there hooting and hollering over and over. Heard my wife having to get onto them. 405. Not bad, not bad. I finished what I was working on the description area. And I've been kind of reading over the rest of that chapter and kind of filling in a few details and redoing some of the dialogue. Firefly took out 46 words. They didn't need to be in there anyway, so that's good. Boom, boom, boom. I think it might quit raining. I haven't heard the thunder in a little bit. So, nope, there it is. I jinxed it. Oh, well. Haven't noticed the lights fading or flickering, so that's always a good sign. Wow. It's already been about an hour and a half. Oh well. If y'all still want, we can do another sprint after all. Do another little chit chat session if y'all want, and then do about another 15. I'll try to get off here probably about another 30 minutes or so. So, yeah. Or we can do a sprint now. It doesn't matter. Whatever y'all want. Please, more sprints. I'm up to around 32K in this project, but it's in 3 places, and I imagine when I'm done combining it, it will drop dramatically. Yeah, I'm trying to kind of gauge mine at the moment. It's at about 37, which is weird because this week I wrote over 30K. But a lot of it I've scrapped, or I've kind of worked on a couple different projects off and on, so it's not all for just this one. But I am currently about 30 chapters in out of 50, so I'm over halfway. And I was kind of hoping it would be close to my first book's range, at least. I know it's going to be a little bit shorter because the chapters aren't as many, but I was going to hope at least writing it to be about maybe 90,000. The Battle for METAGORE was 108. So I was going to try to keep it around like maybe 90 to 100 because I don't want them to be too much in difference. Size-wise between the different books, I want them all kind of about the same. But I know there's still a bunch of stuff I've kind of skimmed over, like details, and I've skipped a couple chapters. So hopefully it will still be around about that time or that same size. I don't know. I'm sure with some revisions and stuff, I might actually add on to it and things like that. But yeah. Yeah, I know Aphrodite had decided to do a 5K a day thing this week, and I was actually going to wait until Tuesday to start, because I was doing that writing locally or whatever here, and they was doing a 5K day yesterday, so I was going to do my 5 days from Tuesday through Saturday. But I went ahead and wrote some uh, Monday as well, and I figured it up earlier, and I have somewhere over there, a little over 30,000. This week before this stream. I did some earlier today on seeing a couple other people doing streams or whatever, so participate in that. And this week I got 30,000. But right now for sovereign duties, it's sitting at 37,856. So, you know, let's see here. This project is an extension of one I started several years ago, but I restarted it midway through camp now. Yeah, I took a break for camp and worked on my memoir. But at some point, I'm planning on going back to the one I had started back in high school. That was more set up like that screenplay, and actually developed more as a novel. And also, whenever I had wrote it then, it was just all over the place. It made no sense. So I'm going to actually have to try to re-outline it and make it actually cohesive. Boom, boom, boom. Shit. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. It's about 27 after, maybe about 3 minutes. At 30 after, we can do another 15-minute sprint. No way it's even. I don't like trying to keep up with time between. It kind of throws me off. I don't know why. I'm just using a timer, so it doesn't really matter. But I'd rather it be like on a 5 or a 10 or something. So we just got a couple more minutes, and then we'll get started onto that. See exactly what I want to work on. That sprint. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Mine started as a group of fable folklore stories written from a godlike perception. I plan on at some point writing a history book for all of my lands. I know I've done a couple blogs with like bullet points of some of the history events for METAGORE, but I plan on doing one that actually involves METAGORE as well as the other 17 continents and expands even thousands of more years of history and all that stuff. And I was planning on writing it from the viewpoint of the god or goddess that actually created the world. So I might do that at some point. Kind of like almost like a journal entry type ordeal of the history of the world from her point of view. I don't know. It's kind of like how George R. R. Martin did for A World of Ice and Fire. That history book, it's kind of written from the viewpoint of one of the maesters, kind of re-scribing all the history events. So I might do something kind of like that, maybe. I don't know. Boom, boom, boom. All right, it's 30 after, so we're gonna go ahead and do another 15-minute sprint. So I'm gonna go get me a glass of water. And go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, go. And that is time. There we go. What all did y'all get done? Let's see here. Oh my God. I got 374. Let's see here. Main character who ties into everything, but a few chapters will be from other main characters till they die. At least clearly. Yeah, I have a character. I wouldn't really say it's a main character, but I do have a character that's going to tie into multiple different stories. Not just my METAGORE series, but a few other fantasy stories I'm planning on writing. One of my side projects is The Gift of a Child, and she is in that story as well. And I'm planning on writing maybe a spinoff, or not really a spinoff, a companion novel from her point of view for that storyline. So she would be in that. And I had even thought of actually mentioning her in maybe another possible story. So she's going to be in at least a METAGORE series, The Gift of a Child, possibly a different story, all at different points in her life. And ironically, she's like in her early to mid 20s type or whatever. In the METAGORE series, Gift of the Child, she's like more of an early teenage, early mid teens. And then the other story, if I had her in, it would be like right after she's born. What? You going to bed? Yeah. Yeah. Good night. Mwah. Sleep well. Hi. Bye. But yeah, she's going to tie into that, and it's kind of ironic because I'm writing it backwards, or her life backwards in a sense. But yeah, I guess since I'm writing her as an adult now, I should know what's happened before, so it should be easier to write the other ones. The Tillery got one, or she got 308. I seen the I and started reading it as one. My bad. If I got some little edits done, names and locations that weren't named in the original draft, slipped into their placeholder slot and added maybe 25 words. Yep. Yeah, that's something else I do a lot. If I need to think of a new name for a person or a place or an event that's happened, a lot of times I'll just type in name and just keep going. And then I'll go back later and fill it back in. Yeah, that was my youngest, my only boy. Now he's screaming his head off back there. Oh, well. Boom, boom, boom. 0 this time, baby won't let me be great. Oh, well. You gotta love him. Let's see here. Babies are fun. Yeah, babies are nice. I just didn't like the whole waking up every couple hours in the middle of the night. That wasn't fun. Yeah. God. Well, let's see here. Shit. We decided to try skipping a nap today, so ours crashed around 5:15. We'll see how the night goes. Yeah, my kids don't take naps. They're very wound up and hyper and everything. Which my oldest doesn't take naps, but my other two do. So, but I didn't really do as much research. I just kind of copied and pasted some research. I skipped to another chapter I hadn't really started yet. I had wrote part of it for a different story and then decided I was not going to use it for the other story. And then I decided to use it for Sovereign Duties. It involves a character being pregnant, which if you read the first one, you should know who that is. It's more up around actual giving birth. And I had done some research at one point about pregnancies and childbirth and medieval times, Middle Ages, whatever. And I don't know what I did with that document. It's somewhere. So went and did a little bit of research on that and kind of copied and pasted some of that info down or whatever and started writing off of that some ideas, which what I got done, which I got 374 actually written that time, and probably a couple pages worth of stuff copy and pasted. I'll kind of shift through that and see what all I want to actually use and how I want to incorporate all that. They are, but I believe she's at the stage where if I twitch, she has to know. Yeah. 4 months is 4 months. Are they crawling yet? Are they mobile? I know my first daughter, she was mobile very early. And she actually started sleeping through the night very early. I think she was sleeping through the night without waking up for a bottle like within a month. I know her pediatrician's like, no, you still need to wake her up every however many hours to feed her. I was like, she's sleeping, she can sleep. She'll eat when she wakes up. But I know she was mobile real early. She slept through the night real early. My middle child, she didn't start sleeping through the night until she was like a year and a half. She didn't wake up as often. And there at the end, I mean, she wasn't being bottle fed or anything. She'd wake up and I would just kind of go in there and rock her back to sleep. So I wasn't having to feed her or anything, but it's still a year and a half, still waking up in the middle of the night. And she didn't, I don't think she was actually crawling or anything until she was like, I don't know, 8, 9 months, something like that. It was a little bit later. And then my son, he rolled everywhere. He didn't really crawl. He would just like lay down and just roll everywhere. And then he started walking, I don't know, around about a year old, somewhere in there. I think he was just kind of barely starting to walk when he was a year. And then he slept through the nights, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months, something like that. So about that age. But I know our first child, she slept through the night within a month. I was like, wow, this is going to be easier than I thought. Let's see here. That's definitely a growth spurt. A sleeve. Yeah. Yeah. I know all 3 of my kids, when they try to crawl, even my son, which didn't really crawl that much. Like I said, he just kind of rolled. All of them, when they started trying to crawl, when they still kind of learning, they would get like on all fours and just kind of rock back and forth. And every so often they would like hop, and it looked like a little frog hop or whatever. Me and my wife used to like get our phones out and record it and make fun of them. But yeah, it was cute. My son turns 2 in December. He learned that he can jump today without having to jump off of something. So he hopped, jumped. Yeah, I think my son just found that out a couple days ago. I know my daughters were jumping and dancing, and then he was like, he would squat down all the way and then stand up and then do like a little hop and then squat back down or whatever. And he thought that was just the most funniest thing he's ever done. And he turned 2 back in April. So, but yeah, he's still trying to get his land legs under him when he runs, because he'll run and take like 5 steps and just he jumps right back up. So but I think my son is probably going to actually start talking like in sentences a lot earlier than either of my daughters did. My oldest, she didn't even really start talking just like single words really until she was like almost 3. I know she would say like mama, dada, stuff like that, but it was very minimal. And she would say like drink and things like that, but it wasn't really, she didn't have like a large vocabulary to actually describe everything. We knew when she had to go to the bathroom, when she was hungry or whatever, and that was about it. And it wasn't until a little before she turned 3. I mean, she was already potty trained and everything by the point that she actually started trying to talk more. And then my middle child, she started talking more like in sentences around about 2.5 years old, somewhere in there. And then my son, he just turned 2 in April, and he's already not complete sentences, but I mean, he's got a lot of a larger vocabulary than what they had. Even when they started speaking in sentences, it was still very limited. And he's really catching on to other words and speaking like that, or whatever. Because I know a lot of stuff like both my girls, when they was thirsty, everything was juice. They wanted juice, or fruit. They would call it fruit. At times, I don't know why. I know at one point they was calling juice fruit tea. I think that was because they was wanting tea or something. We didn't have any, so my wife just told them it was fruit tea, and that's what just kind of stuck for a while. But I got them to drink it. But my son, he will actually say juice, tea, milk, water, soda, whatever. Which we don't let him have sodas. He's too hyper as is. But he knows more words for something to drink than what the girls did. So, boom, boom, boom. Doo-doo-doo. Boom. My son calls us burr apples or nanas. So, yeah. No sense. Yeah. At times my son will call bananas nana. It's confusing because my mom didn't want to be called granny or anything like that. She wanted to be called nana because she said granny and stuff like that. It sounded like she was too old. I was like, you was 30 when you had me. You are old. Sorry. But she wants to be called Nana, so a lot of times the girls will be talking about Nana, and he'll talk about Nana. But he also calls bananas nanas, and when he first started doing that, we was like confused a little bit. We was like, "What's?" And then after we figured it out, and then after we figured out he was talking about bananas, he started calling them yellow. And he'll be like, "I want yellow, yellow." And when he says pillows, like for his bed, because he drags his pillows all over the house, it sounds like yellow because he doesn't do the P sound. So it's like, hello, hello. It's like, what? Because I'll be like, it's time for bed. Hello. You're not getting a banana? No. Hello. Whatever. But yeah, I used to love giving my kids ice cream or something, and they'd take a bite and they'd be like, brr. It's like, yep, it's code. And then my mom had ingrained into the girls the word spicy, because my mom cannot eat anything that's spicy at all. She's like the odd one in the family. Me, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, we all love spicy food. I mean, spicy. Whatever the hottest thing you can find, I'll eat it. My mom cannot have any kind of spice. It is too spicy. And the girls had stayed over there one time, and I don't even remember what it was. It was like some type of like sausage pizza or something, maybe Italian sausage, because I know it's got a little bit more of a spice than regular. But she was talking about how that was spicy and stuff, and my girls just picked up the word spicy. So anything that had any kind of twang to it was spicy. They even told me the ice cream was spicy, lemons were spicy, this was spicy. I was like, no, this is spicy, this is sour, this is cold, all different. But for a long time, they would call everything spicy. I was like, your Nana would call water spicy if she could. I was like, you don't need to listen to her. My daughter was standing and such at 5 months and walking at 8 months. She's bilingual, Japanese and English, which is more work. Yeah, I'm not bilingual. My wife's not bilingual. I know my oldest daughter took a thing called TOT in preschool, which is Teams of Tomorrow, which is like a basketball type of ordeal. is mostly just like kind of hand-eye coordination, but they taught them different things in Spanish, French, German, and then of course English. So she knows a few things like that, mostly numbers and colors in those languages. I think that's about it. And then she knows a few other Spanish words or whatever, but that's about it. But I know every so often she'll come up and say something to me. I'm just like, I don't know what you said. She's like, it's Spanish for this. I was like, well, I'm white. I don't speak Spanish. I'm sorry. I didn't take any foreign language in any type of schooling ever. So you speak English in this house. If you want to learn Spanish or whatever, go for it. Don't come up to me talking Spanish because I don't know. I know a few cuss words in Spanish, and that's about it. That's because I used to work with some Mexicans that used to cuss me out a lot, but that was about it. So yeah, but I know my oldest. She was pretty quick learner with like getting mobile and stuff like that. She just took forever to actually talk. I think that was mostly because she was around my mom a lot and her other grandparents a lot, and they just, waited on her hand and foot. They would just go get stuff, and they didn't really try to get her to say it or anything like that. Whereas at home, she would just kind of go into the kitchen, and go, So no, what do you want? Don't know what that means. Gotta tell me, or whatever. We was a little bit more forceful with her trying to actually communicate while everybody else was like, oh, okay, you want this, and just start giving her stuff. So yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Oh shit. Whereas Dada, Kit Kat, and Hazy are his most used words. Dog is named Hazy. He's definitely more advanced physically than verbally. Yeah, something that actually surprised us with our son when he first started talking or whatever, he called me Dada, Daddy, whatever, Mama, Mommy. He has two sisters. One's name is Jara, and the other one's name is Chiquita, which we just call her Kita for short. He would say Jara, but he would never call Kita by her name. It was always Sissy. So if he said Sissy, it was talking about Chiquita, and then Jara was Jara. And Chiquita usually gets so mad. He's like, why does he not say my name? So I don't know. You're Sissy to him. I don't know. But now he calls her Kita a lot more. And he kind of refers to both of them as his sissies. But he's going through the phase right now where he wants to call his mom by her name, and she hates that. He's like, Amber. And she's like, no, I am mom. Amber, I am mom. He hasn't started trying to call me by my name yet, but I figure it probably will. I wish I could help my son be bilingual. Yeah, I think stuff like that would be come in handy, especially like Spanish around here. That'd be the most needed, I guess. I know my wife's older sister, where she likes a lot of Japanese and stuff. She has an African gray parrot, and she's taught it like Japanese and all kinds of different languages, German and whatever. And she had a dog at one point that she had trained to only, react to Japanese commands. And then her parents had to take care of the dog one time when she left, and they were so pissed because they couldn't communicate with the dog at all because it would not listen to you unless you were speaking in Japanese. So yeah, but I tried to take Spanish in high school. My high school, they let you take it from like 9th through 12th grade. There was like 2 years you could take it. And it didn't matter, when you started, but you could only take it twice, like Spanish 1 and Spanish 2. And I tried taking my 9th grade year, and they told me that I couldn't because they filled it up from like seniors first and juniors, sophomores, whatever. I was like, all right, whatever. Tried it again, and sophomore year, they gave me the same thing. They said it was all full, whatever. My junior year, they told me the same thing, and there were some freshmen in the fucking class. I was like, what the fuck, people? So my senior year, I was like, man, I ain't even gonna bother with it. Pointless. So, and that was the only foreign language that we had available at my school was Spanish. I know some people learn French, whatever, in their schools and stuff. We didn't have that, but oh well. Let's see here. I can sing the ABCs and sign in Spanish. Yeah, I know the alphabet in sign language. I don't really know many words. I used to know a little bit more. I used to be part of they called it Sticks. It was like a almost like a church choir type thing at our church that the youth did, but it was just doing sign language to songs and stuff. And I knew those sign languages, but it wasn't really that I knew the words. It's just more like a dance pattern. You just knew the movements to follow. Um, but I do know all the alphabet in sign language, but that's it. I know somebody was like, "Oh, you know sign language?" I was like, "I can spell things out, so I can't really do the words. I'm sorry." But yeah. My children right now are learning the language of their choice for school. I'm studying Korean and German right now. Cool, cool. But yeah, I mean, there's I forgot exactly how I knew the dude, but I remember somebody at one point that I knew could speak like 7 different languages. He spoke Spanish, French, Mandarin, and whatever the other Chinese languages. I know there's like two different dialects or whatever. He could speak both of those. Um, so I don't remember what all. I know German, French, I think Portuguese, whatever, and a few other languages he could speak or whatever. But I was like, if I ever learned another language, it'd be one. I'm not going to try to learn every language in the world or anything like that. It's no, English is complicated enough. Son is learning Japanese, oldest daughter Spanish, third child is learning German, and the baby and the fourth child are learning Swahili and Somalian. That's like Hawaiian or whatever, like the Samoa type, whatever. I'm guessing the Islanders or something, whatever. I'm studying German and Korean too. I wouldn't mind if I had to pick a language now to try to learn. I wouldn't mind learning either German or Russian, just because I like the aggressive sound in the words and such, and their phonetics or whatever. I guess always thought that was kind of cool. My dollar is 3 and has a decent amount of words, but I think my 4 years is the language benchmark for most kids. Well, oh, okay. My bad. I know, referred to as Samoan or whatever if you're like Hawaii type Bordeaux. So I don't know that mean different languages except the ones that are basically just named after, I guess, popular countries that most people know, like French and German and Russian, Chinese, Japanese. Besides that, yeah, I'm not very good at it. I wasn't really ever that interested in world geography or anything like that growing up. I like some of the history of the different kingdoms and stuff or countries, but actual more, I guess, learning about that culture, like language and religions and stuff like that. Not really, unless I'm just looking for something in particular. My uncle could speak around 8 languages. I was like, wow, I can sing this. Yeah, I heard some people talk about how they can like sing in more languages than they can actually speak because kind of like I was talking about with the sign language type thing, you kind of just get that rhythm, so you kind of get that, I guess, flow or whatever, how the words sound together, and you kind of know what you're talking about, but actually to communicate in actual conversation and sentences and stuff, it's different. But my first producer when I was making music, he had a daughter while I was still going there, and his daughter by the time she learned how to speak, I mean, like a year, 2 years old or whatever, when she was learning to speak, she could do her colors, numbers, and knew a lot of the words that she would normally know in English. She knew in Spanish, French, something else. I don't know. But his wife was like a very well educated nurse, and she spoke a couple different languages that she had learned. So every time they taught their daughter a new word, they would teach her that word in every language. So once she knew how to count to like 10, she knew how to count to 10 in English, Spanish, whatever other languages she knew how to speak. I was like, wow. I was like, she's smarter than me. Yeah, I think something like that would be pretty cool. Um, I don't really know if I'd ever use it, but I mean, just, I think it would be very helpful. You know, you could broaden your horizon with who you communicate with, you know, networking and everything else. And it would just be something kind of cool to, you know. I got a scamper, guys. Thanks so much for hosting. Great time as always. Good night. Good night. See what time is it? A little after 9 here. Boom, boom, boom. You're fine. It's in English language. I learned it at home plus Italian since both. Always thought Italian would be kind of cool. I don't know. There are certain languages I think would be cool to learn just because how it sounds, and others I think I would want to speak more. Like I was talking about German and Russian, I think that would be more I would like to speak just because of the aggressive tone or whatever. You know, just they could say "I love you" and it sounds like very and angry and stuff. I think that would just be kind of cool to speak. But I think like the sound of like Spanish and Italian and French and some of those other what they call love languages actually sound more pleasing, and I think that would be kind of cool to kind of learn. Um, I know one thing that I can't do. I've tried. I can't roll R's, so any language that would kind of need me to do that for words, nope, that's not cutting it. I can't do it. But yeah, I know I've done some research on different languages and different types of languages and stuff like that for when I was creating my languages for my world, since my world is going to have eventually 12 made up languages altogether. So while I was kind of doing that kind of research and stuff like that, I actually had to learn some of the basics for different languages, how it's kind of comprised, the different phonetic soundings, and this and that, and kind of, you know, what separates something from a love language or a violent language or what other titles they gave. So, you know, if you want something to sound more pleasing, you know, kind of like Spanish or French or something sounds more appealing to the ears when spoken, or something that sounds very, you know, kind of choppy, like a lot of Japanese and some other stuff like that. It's very kind of choppy. And then German and Russian is very more aggressive sounding. The different uh, syllables and phonetic sounds you would want to kind of comprise it together and how you kind of want it set up and stuff like that. Let's see here. German is easy because it's close to English. Yeah, I think anything that would, like I was just talking about, a lot of the phonetic sounds and stuff, if it's very similar, I think it would be probably easier to learn. So you're not trying to train yourself to do other type of sounds. Because I know some languages are more clicks and whatever with the tongue and not as much actual vocalization from the back of the throat. Others are more spoken through the nose, others, you know, whatever. So I think if you've already know one language spoken that way, it's easier to learn others, or at least easier to speak it since you're already kind of trained to speak in that style, I guess. But yeah, no, because I know for my languages I created, Akari is more of a love language, I guess, kind of derived from Spanish and some other stuff like that. Um, it would be more appealing to hear. Um, I am working on Pacciano and Panisi, which are more rough sounding, like German or Russian or stuff like that. Then I got Gortese, which is more of a very hard language to learn. Even I think someone that learns languages a lot, or is very adaptable to that, I think it would still be a very hard language to learn because a lot of the words are slightly altered to mean completely different things. The amounts of letters in the alphabet or whatever sounds are kind of minimalized. So there's not that much alteration between the different ones, and it's very similar to other words. So I think that would be something that would be hard to learn because it's just like one letter off. You know, you could have a list of like 20 words, and each one could just be like slightly different, and they could all mean something completely different. So I feel like that would be harder to actually learn. So that's where I'm going with those languages at the moment, as well as Akari, my love language. It's a very simplistic one. So they don't have multiple words that mean the same thing. Something's big, huge, giant, whatever. They just have one word that means that. They don't have multiple different ones like we do in English, as well as they don't have any plurals or possessive addings onto words or whatever. So me, mine, I, it's all the same thing. You got one cat, 20 cats. It's still just the same word. They would have the number, but they wouldn't have like an S or anything like that. It's still just the same word. So I feel like Akari, I kind of designed it to be like a love language, but very simplistic. So it would be one of the easier ones to learn if anybody ever, wanted to geek out and try to learn that language. So yeah. And then there's a few words that they don't have, I think. I know there's a lot of words that Pacciano and Pinisi don't have that, can't convert to English, or English doesn't convert to there because they don't just have that word and that language. Like they don't have a word for mother or father or children, or well, I think they do have something for children for like younger people, but nothing like it's your child or anything like that. And then there's a few other words that they just don't have a word for because that's just not in their culture. So yeah. My phone's a blinking. Let's see here. Facebook. Let's see here. Anything else y'all want to chat about? We've been going almost 2 hours and 20 minutes. If not, I think I'm going to probably call it a night before too long. I don't think I'm going to do another sprint. I think the kids are either all in bed. I don't know. The girls haven't came back here. They're probably still watching the movie. I think after that, I'm going to go in there and watch some TV. Well, but if y'all want to keep chit-chatting or whatever, I'll chit-chat with y'all. I ain't got anything else to do, really. Boom, boom, boom. Ooh, shit. Shit. Cancel. Oh, that's not working. Whatever. Oh, let's see here. All right, good night. Thank you for stopping by and stuff. I don't know if I'll be busy Tuesday night or whatever for your stream. I'll just be kind of see what's going on, see how the kids are acting and all that stuff. So I might be there. fine by me. We can get off here. Again, thank y'all for stopping by. All my links are down below if you want to go follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube. You know, click the subscribe button, ring the bell, you know, all that fun jazz. Give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. I don't know why you would thumbs down it, because y'all are kind of part of this conversation. So you're giving yourself thumbs down, but oh well. You can do whatever. My website's down below if y'all want to go check that out. I have a newsletter you can sign up for and get the first 2 chapters of the Battle for METAGORE sent to you for free. I will eventually try to put a little sample of my audiobook up on there whenever I have it available to me. And yeah, I guess that's about it. I know earlier I mentioned the alpha thing. I got that sign up sheet down there as well. You can sign up if you want to be an alpha for book 2. Whenever that comes around, probably later this year, early next year. And I probably won't have an actual set timeline. I know some people do that for their beta runs and stuff. I usually don't. I will usually send out my stuff to my alphas or my betas, and then while they're reading it and, you know, commenting or whatever, let me know what they think about it. I'm usually going through and doing my first round of self edits and revisions at that point. And then I haven't had a problem with them not having it back to me by the time I got done with that, because that usually takes a little while. So there's no rush on that, but that probably won't get sent out until, like I said, end of this year, maybe even early next year, depending how fast I get the first draft done. But yeah, again, thank y'all for hanging out with me for a couple hours, getting some words written, having some convo and stuff. So yeah. Thank you. Peace out. Yelly. Everybody love everybody.